Hey everybody, Pastor Wayne here, and I'm with my friend John Boover. And you may know John and Rachel from being on the worship team. And John, we've been talking today about having a plan for God to use you in generosity, having a vision, and then lastly, having a dream. And you had a dream story that I want to share with everybody today. But why don't we back up real quick and just tell them kind of what led up to that?
Yeah, so a few months back, I got an unfortunate accident and I completely ruptured my eardrum. Went to the emergency room. It was confirmed by a whole bunch of doctors. Because of that, I had to have surgery. So I had a scheduled appointment with a specialist 2 days later. Basically, I went in for that scheduled appointment and they could not find anything wrong with my ear.
Wow.
Complete 100% miraculous healing.
Amazing. And people were praying for you. And I remember you called me and you were like, what? Like, God, it was just a cool moment. So God heals your ear. What a powerful thing. And tell us a little bit about what you're saying to God at this point.
At that point, I'm like, wow, God, thank you so much for this. And I just felt it overwhelmingly on my heart. God, how can you use me in some other miraculous way? You know, use what you did through me.
Fast forward, we're at brunch together with Rachel and Christy and having brunch, and tell us what God did during that time.
Yeah, so at brunch, we were talking about, just the needs of the church and everything like that. And, we need roofs, ACs, floors, the whole works. God really laid it on both me and Rachel's heart, to help out where we could. And that was in giving. So we left brunch and we talked about it in the car, and God put on a number on our hearts. And that number was $40,000.
Wow, that's a no joke number. And, I assume that wasn't easy to process or digest.
No, not at all. I mean, thinking to myself, God, are you sure? You really? Because we don't have $40,000. Right. How can we possibly even give this kind of number?
He has to do it supernaturally.
There's no other way.
Fast forward to the moment that you realize what God did.
I trade stocks and cryptocurrencies and things like that. And I'm leaving work one day and I decide I'm gonna check my portfolio like I usually do. And I looked down at my phone and I just had to pause for a minute, check and see if that number that I was seeing was actually real. Took a double take. I was like, wow, that's real. I immediately called my wife and I was like, hey, that thing we had prayed about and talked about? God provided. So
Rachel calls Christy, and I was actually standing next to Christy and Rachel said, hey, we need to meet with you today. I'll just never forget that night, being with you, hearing the story about what God did. So you spurred me on to believe that God can do great things. Tell everybody that's watching here today from our church, what advice would you give them to spur them on?
I'd say don't be afraid to let God use you. God used us a miraculous way. He healed my ear. He provided for us and then some. And because of that, we were able to give back and honor what God did for us and to help build his church.
I want to say thank you for just giving us a picture of a dream of generosity and what that looks like. And I feel spurred on and encouraged, and I know everybody else is encouraged to be generous as well. Thank you, John.